shut up. Thanks very much. What? West Bromwich, what a lovely greeting, mate. Fucking haven't walked to this side of the fucking stage yet. You come here with your bloody hoopy jumper on. Is it Boxing Day already, mate? I've got you, mate. What's that shirt you got on there, mate, next to him? Oh, Luton Town. Oh, don't kick a team when they're down. Well, it'll be a few months yet, but... yeah, fucking woo! Yeah. Oh, I feel we found a rapport. So you together, you three, are you? No, we just fucking coasted. Yeah, chances of meeting two other Luton fans in any other building. So what's your names, you three? One at a time now. You're? Matt. Welcome. Shit joke. It's a shit joke. No, it was a shit joke. Tap the shit jokes if you like. Yeah, well done, Matt. Good feed. And one in the middle, what you call, mate? Yeah. Don't feel you have to rush into these responses. Have a bit of... You've probably got it on a tattoo there somewhere. Can someone read that for him? What did you say? What's tread? That's one of your little Luton jokes, isn't it? Tread. And what about you, mate? What's your... You're Matt as well? Ah. It could happen, I suppose. Actually, this is the London Palladium. They've all been out here, Frank Sinatra and... who else? No, lots of famous, all the big stars have been on this day. Who? Box Fizz have been on here. Hey? Perhaps you should come up, Matt, and also do a bit of I'll rip your jumper off halfway. This is the royal box. The lower one here. So you're in the royal box. You four people. What about that? Hey? Bloody hell. Not everyone can get in the royal box, you know. Will Carlin, maybe. That's bad. No, I don't think he did. I don't believe he did. Because if you did, you'd tell people, wouldn't you? That's the only reason I would. Oh, I would. I'd tell everybody, eh? I would. Because normally, if I have sex with anybody, the next day I have to tell every bloke I see. I'll stop people in the street. Hey, you should have seen me last night. Will you get off, please? Get off. And you could say to Diana, no, of course I wouldn't dream. I realise, your position, I wouldn't dream of telling anyone. This is, a very personal thing between you and me. But that day, I'll be round a mate's house in the kitchen having a cup of coffee. Come on. You're going to pick up the tea towel and say, I fucked her. It's a guess, but she's all right. I've got nothing against the old. Apparently, Charles got a bit. According to the stories, Charles got a bit worried, and he went to see the Duke of Edinburgh. This is not against. He reckons this is what happened, and he said, "Look, Father, I'm a bit worried about Diana because I don't think she loves me. I think she just married me so she can get into the royal family, nice cushy life, plenty of money, and that's it." And the Duke of Edinburgh went, "Anyway, just leave it. Just leave it." I was in Norwich Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday this week. And I met Mike Walker for the first time. Is there anyone, by the way, before I go in, is there anyone that doesn't know anything about football? Anyone nearby? You don't. What's your name? Elaine. Where are you from, Elaine? From Fife. Good for you, eh? Oh, that's marvellous. Perhaps we can... No. So, you're not interested in football, Elaine, at all? You do know? Who do you... A little... Well, I'll tell you what, if I mention football tonight, Elaine, and I think it's a bit obscure, I'm not going to go on about it all night, but if I explain it to you, Elaine, then people who don't know about football will get it through, so they won't get, but they might. And so you're my sort of don't know about football person for tonight, sort of a Jimmy Hill figure. Is that all right, Elaine? Now, I met Mike Walker when I was in Norwich. We did we met anyway. Mike Walker used to manage Norwich. You know Norwich, it's all sort of Shire horses and tractors. And then he moved to Everton, which is that's like Liverpool. Have you been there? Yeah, okay. Somebody cheered then when I said Liverpool. Yeah? Everton? Oh, I said Everton, but yeah, I meant in Liverpool. Right, okay. There's already people around there going, shit, why is that? No. We don't regional stereotyping here, do we? So we went to Everton, which is in Liverpool, right? And it's a big move, isn't it, from Norwich to there. The bloke was sitting trying to concentrate on the games. You know that little wooden dugout they sit in watching, and he was obviously trying to concentrate, but all the time thinking, I hope the car's all right. And now we've got some Everton fans. Who's the Everton fans? You, mate. What do you think of Joe Royle, then? Great. Isn't his face too fucking big, though? Oh, Elaine, I wish I could bring him. He's got a fucking face on him. It's like... It's the biggest face in Europe, easily. You see when he's in the stands, you see the players running along and they're... Carnival day or what? Is that bloke looking at us through a big fucking magnifying glass? Joe's there with a face like me, like. Oh, I've never seen anything like it in all my... You know that little dog out they sit in, the wooden thing? He just about gets his face in there. And there's like two blokes going, Joe, put your face outside just for a minute. Joe. When he chews, the dog out goes like that. And these round neck sweatshirts, they had to rip them off him at the end. Stitch them on, rip them off. Could never get them over the face in a minute. Am I right, mate? Never get them over the face. Southampton fan? No. But you like old Matt Le Tissier? Oh, old Matty. He bloody good, isn't he? People like him. Now, so Matt, in case you don't know Matt Le Tissier, Elaine, he's have you heard of him? You've heard of him. See, even Terry Venables hasn't fucking heard of him. He's bear with me. Two women down here going, oh, he's going to talk about fucking football. But I just get this out of your system. He does, you might have seen him in Southampton. You know, he does a bit of stand-up comedy now around the clubs. Have you seen that? Yeah, honest. He does about 90 minutes on stage, right? During which time he probably tells maybe 3 jokes at the most. But when he tells one, oh, it's fucking brilliant. Some nights he's not going to tell one at all tonight. He's had an off night, man. He's not going to tell a joke. 90 minutes. And right at the end, he tells a fucking cracking joke. But most of the time, he just goes up and down the stage like this. That was a great joke, Elaine, but... I went to Cambridge. Yeah, I didn't... when I say I went to Cambridge, I meant I stayed in a hotel and left. I don't mean I went to Cambridge and... I went there, and 250 years ago in Cambridge, as a bloke born, he was commissioned, he was a musician, he was commissioned to write the tune for Big Ben, right? I don't mean like bong, obviously, that'd be a great job, that wouldn't it? Imagine when the mayor and everyone turned up to hear it, and he said, see what you think of this. And, all right, kids, ground on me, see what you think. Bong. No, he wrote the bit that goes, down, 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 you know that bit. Which, of course, has now become shit ground, no fans, shit ground, no fans. You must know that one, lads. Cruel. I'll tell you the best football chant, and Elaine, you don't need to be a football fan to appreciate this. This is the last thing I'm going to say about football for a bit, right? But this is not football, this is art. This is the most wonderful football chant you've ever heard in your life. And I'll tell you what it was. In the 70s, I support a team, Elaine, called West Brom. Right, you've heard of it? Hey, don't spoil it for Elaine. We're actually top of the Premier League at the moment. I'm in here. No, but we used to, in the 70s, whenever we went down to London, we always used to sing this chant, and it's a marvellous thing, and it goes like this, right? I wish I was in London, I do. Obviously, we didn't do the dance when we... You don't want to be on the terraces at West Ham, I'll tell you, going... Or it's Stanley knife time, I'm afraid. I'm just trying to give you a bit of visual aid, you know. So, it went, I wish I was in London, I do. I wish I was in London, I do. I'd go down to Trafalgar Square and say to old Lord Nelson, fuck off, you one-eyed Cockney bastard. No disrespect to anyone who's in front. Isn't it lovely, though, eh? Isn't it lovely? Very pop. I haven't heard it for years, but in the 70s it was... Bing Crosby did it on an album. Fuck off. You one-eyed Cockney. Bastard. Think of the lighting. Think of that. Do you think I went over the top with that? Life support machines went off all over London. He'll be back on in a minute. Oh, what a thought. I went to Edinburgh. Yes. You can say anywhere, can't you? Someone will say, yes, right. You from Edinburgh? Yes. Yeah. What's your name? Moira. Nice. Moira and Elaine. Perhaps you can have a bit of a Scottish get-together after. Bit of shortbread, you know, on a chat. I went to the festival. Now, it's very arty, the Edinburgh Festival, and this year there was a lot of nudity, which I've got nothing against, you know, in the name of art, obviously. And there was a woman who did this show, an hour-long show, talking about the works of Robert Louis Stevenson. She was completely naked, head to foot, for an hour on stage. My goodness, I went, just, you know, curiosity. It was nearly as big as this, the theatre. The poor soul, there were 7 people in there. 6 at the back, looking a bit embarrassed and wishing they hadn't come. Me at the front. It was all right, I thought, you know. Could have been improved. Perhaps individual booths would have been my idea. These people, they think they know best. Now, I actually considered, because this was a Palladium, so a bit of a special show, because, you know, London, I used to watch this when we was kids on the telly, you know. And so I thought, perhaps I could do it naked as a sort of a publicity stunt. No. You say that, but no. It wasn't the sort of genitals thing, normally is what you'd worry about. When I actually seriously come to consider being naked in front of, you know, a couple of thousand people, what put me off was you can never be sure in life, can you, that your arse is 100% clean. not 100%. Now, nobody, I don't mean to cast nobody can. There's no one here tonight put their hand on their heart and say you could eat your dinner. Nobody. And that knowledge would just undermine my confidence. Just take the edge off the performance. You could hire a professional dresser who could, check you over, maybe, with a lice comb. But even then, maybe one night, maybe out of spite, he might send you out, shall we say, slightly matted. No offence. And that, I couldn't stand that. If I picked up the Evening Standard tomorrow night and there was a review in there and it said, saw Frank Skinner at the London Palladium, he was all right, but what spoilt it for me? He turned round at one point and there was a bit of a rhino horn. That's what it is, Did you know that? Did you know that? That it's not a rhino's horn, it's not ivory, it's matted hair, that's all it is. That's absolutely true, that. We've learned something tonight. I reckon if you didn't wash your arse for, say, a year, you'd be able to charge fucking Land Rovers like that. Now, anyway, in Edinburgh, and you'll know this, Moira, there's a little statue of a little dog called Bobby. And it's called Greyfriars Bobby. Some of you will have heard of this. And it's a lovely story, attached to that statue. Bobby was a little dog, a real thing, that lived in Edinburgh, and he had a master, and the master died. And they buried him. And little Bobby lay on that master's grave, and he lay there for years. Just going... He was, dead and gone, but he still stayed there with him. A bit like you three, lots of ways. It was a joke. And he lay there, and he died on that very grave, that dog. And he became like a symbol of loyalty, The locals would go past and say, look, little Bobby there on the grave, Before he died, obviously. Otherwise, we're going past and say, we should bury Bobby, he stinks. Look at him, he's gone. Look how flat he's gone, Bobby. Oh, he's like a fucking pyjama case. Know what that is? Is that a starling that's come out of Bobby's eye? No, anyway, it became a symbol of loyalty. Now, archaeologists have discovered recently, and I don't know if you knew about this, Moira, they've discovered that they actually buried the bloke still holding the fucking lead. Bobby's been there, was there for years like this. Excuse me. I'm not loyal at all, actually. I hated him. Used to fuck me when he was drunk. Sad story. There'll be cats going past saying, hey, Bobby, fucking come on, man. You're not barking anymore. Thank you. That was a lovely welcome when I came out. I don't know if I remembered to thank you. It was a nice thank you for that. It was, we all need a bit of encouragement in life, don't we? If you do something well, it's nice if people give you a bit of a pat on the back. I think my idea of perfect happiness is to have sexual intercourse with a woman, and that's not it. and for her to say to me, you were fantastic tonight. OK, you were gentle and loving, but at the same time, you were brutish. And like a wild animal. You made me feel like a woman tonight. Keep the money. Now, put it away. Oh, many a true word. Now, so have we got any couples in tonight? About you two, you're going out. What's your names? If you don't mind me asking, you don't mind having a little chat, do you? What's your names? Chris and Nick. I should point out if you're at the back. You know, it doesn't bother me, but Nick is it Nicola? Nicola and Chris. So how long, can I ask how long you've been 3 years? Cool. Do you find, when you first started going out, Nick, did you find that Chris used to try and impress you? He'd do things like maybe wash his hands after he'd been to the toilet. That soon wears off, doesn't he? No, doesn't he? I find that, you know, after a couple of months, you might wash your hands whilst going to the toilet, but it's an accident. I find in the early stage of a relationship, I don't know if you can remember back 3 years, but I'm very nervous. I can't relax. I can't be myself with the woman. You know what I mean? I'm trying to impress. I'm always putting on a false front. And they'll say, you know, you're not fucking me wearing that false front. And I'll say, no, the horns are just a tickle, they don't hurt. But eventually, and I'm going to get a bit romantic, I hope you don't mind that, you know, it's eventually you might be just sitting there and it creeps up on you a bit, and you'll remember this moment, you sit there together. And I mean, speaking personally, I might think, you know, I really feel I can relax with this woman. I feel that we're not just lovers, we're friends. And I'll say, I think we're getting on well, aren't we? You know, we share a sense of humour. Well, we have to, you haven't got one. And I think it's going well. I just wanted you to know that I think I love you, you know, and I care a lot about you, and I like being with you, and I just wanted to say that. So, anal sex, what do you think? It's a big moment, I know. But it's one we all have to face eventually, I find, right? And there's a reaction. A lot of people, you know, it gets a lot of bad press, anal sex. I think if people were more open, we have to be fairly open, obviously. But it's that, you know, it's at least worth, you know, having a chat about. I've mentioned it. You know, there's a slight tension in the air, and some people are going, oh, what did he say? People will be getting back tonight to, you know, maybe to Southampton or even Luton. And they'll be getting back and saying, well, maybe if it's a couple, the bloke will say, I can only apologise, Michelle. I've never been so embarrassed. I never thought for a second. I mean, it's not like this on Gag Tag. I never thought for a second I'd hear anything like that. Like, you were embarrassed and I was embarrassed on your behalf. I apologise. I would never have taken anal sex. Oh, dude. Oh. Still, now we're on the subject. See, that's my verdict. Is in every couple, not every couple, I'll give you a bit of a loophole, but in most couples, there's one partner who wouldn't mind giving it a bit of a try, yeah. Bit of a dry run, see how it goes. It's at least worth talking out. What have you got to lose just by talking about it? You know, I like to think maybe, you know, me talking about it tonight might trigger off a bit of conversation later on. Hopefully not on the night bus, but it's up to you. At least get it out of the way. Don't let it become a taboo to your relationship. You know what they say about relationships? It's not what you say that does the damage. It's what you don't say. So if you have any luck, why not drop us a line, you know, let me know how it's gone. Not on a postcard, preferably something sealed, because people talk, don't they? But just chat about it, you know, and see what happens. A lot of people avoiding my eyes incredibly. Oh, fucking ask me. I won't ask anyone, honestly. No, but it's good to talk, as they say. You know, it's good to talk. See, that's what the advert should be: a settee with a bloke sitting at one end, bit pensive, bit troubled, anxious. At the other end, a woman, puzzled, confused. In the middle, Bob Hoskins, looking into camera and saying, he wants to fuck her up the arse. Keep going, Frank. I Went out with a woman for about, it must have been 7 or 8 months, and I was trying to pick my moment, trying to find the right time, because you don't want to rush these things. Word of advice, 3 years a bit much. Oh, joke. But you want to pick your right moment, you know, and one night I said, look, something I want to ask you. I said, now, you can say no. I said, I'll fucking sulk, but you can't say no. I said, do you, would you mind if tonight maybe we tried anal sex? What do you think? And she looked at me, and she said, what, again? I thought I must get the light fixed in that bedroom. I don't know where I'm working half the time. Now, a lot of women, and you know, a lot of women quite sensibly will say, and prepare yourselves for this, they'll say, is it dangerous? Now, it's a good question, well put. But here's my advice to any women here. If you want to find out if anal sex is dangerous, there are books, there are brochures. There's the Citizens Advice Bureau. I wouldn't bother asking if you want an honest, objective, fair-minded answer. Don't bother asking a naked man with his knob in one hand and some Johnson's baby lotion in the other. Do you honestly believe for 1 second that bloke is going to go, oh, dangerous, I never thought of that. Best not risk it, I'd will. Leave that. Don't think so. I think that bloke would probably go, dangerous? Do I hear right? No, I've done it loads of times, never hurt me. It's fine. Come on. And he'll say, look, tell me if it hurts, I'll stop straight away. Even if you wanted to, you can't do it. You can't. You know, I'm quite a superstitious bloke. I believe in ghosts and things like that. And I believe in the arse hair demon. Have you heard of this? You heard of this, Chris? No. The arse hair demon, Chris, is a little invisible nymph who comes into your bedroom when you're having sex, just like this. You're frightened. And the slow bit at the beginning, you know, when the bit in the manual where it says, don't thrust, just roll. It's the bloke's way of saying, look, you know, the physical thing's only part of it for me. Chris, you're looking at me, as if to say, slow bit? Do I remember that? No. Does exist, apparently, and I'm saying, Nicky, you're laughing a bit too much at that joke, if you don't mind me saying. No, I tell you what's terrible, if you're a bit quick, we're all a bit quick occasionally, but sometimes, if it's the first time you've had sex with someone, women think, oh, I bet he's like this all the time, and that gives you a bad reputation. I went out with a woman for about 3 days, and I got a bit lucky. No, and we ended up in bed, you know. And afterwards, I was lying back having a cigarette, and I said, that was fantastic. I said, did you always do it doggy fashion, or was that just tonight? And I realised that she was just plumping the pillows in anticipation. If looks could kill, I'll tell you. Oh, the look she gave me. She just looked. What was fantastic? I said, fantastic plumping on the old... Oh, terrible. Now, there is a slow bit now, Chris, I've read about it. So, during that slow bit, like, the bloke's there like this, and he's barely moving. Barely moving. He's thinking, I can do this all night. At that moment, the arsehair demon comes in. And he just grabs the bloke arsehair like that, just grabs it. You feel it go taut. And it's at that moment when the bloke's at his most arrogant, when he thinks, oh, I'm really in control now. Look at me, eh? One of these young kids, look at me going. It's at that moment when the arsehair demon, or the arse, goes, get in there, go on. Sorry about this, I don't know what's happened. Oh, dear. Start as a gentle lover, you become a fucking baboon. Nobody can stop whether it hurts or not. They can't stop then. Lightning could strike the fucking roof, I'm telling you. Fucking God, come out. Roof's on fire, but we'll have a look after. Can't stop. I could barely stop then, to be honest with you. I should point out, to be fair, that in case you've got plans now for tonight, that anal sex is actually illegal in England. Oh dear. That didn't go down very well at all, did he? Certainly men and men can do it. It's all right for men and men, but not men and women, apparently. Which seems a bit unfair to me. I've got nothing against, men and men doing it. Obviously, a couple of drinks, but kid. But nothing against that, but it just seems a bit unfair that they can do it legally and men and women can't. That seems like, one area of society. I don't see why men and men should be able to do it and not men and women. Sod's law, I suppose. But it spoils it. I'm quite a law-abiding citizen in most ways, and it spoils it for me. I remember one night I was having anal sex, right? Do you know that might be the first time that sentence ever been said on this grand old stage? Backstage, 3 or 4 times a night, I shouldn't be surprised. But on the stage, a little bit of history there. I was having anal sex one night, and suddenly I was overcome with guilt at the legal implications. And it really spoilt it for me, honestly. In the end, I tapped this woman on the shoulder. I said, I'm sorry, I'm going to have to make a citizen's arrest. And she looked round like that. She went. She said, stop messing about, Frank. I'm trying to do my fucking homework. Home University, obviously. She's in her late 20s. And what you people think I am. Anyway, I said, look, I'm sorry, I'm going to have to drive you down to the station. And off we went. A bit like a wheelbarrow race in many ways. So be careful. I don't want you to encourage you to do anything that's illegal. Strange thing. I'll tell you what's a strange thing, and I don't want to make light of this because it's a terrible thing in many ways, but this Fred West case. What do you make of that? What do they think of that in Luton? What do you think, Matt? Matt won. Matt Jumper. Do you think probably they did it? Sorry? Bit touch and go. Yeah. I suppose as a brief summing up, that's... Do you know you can actually... you can buy their houses for sale, that Cromwell Road house. 65 grand, I think it is. And you're not allowed to view it because they think that horrible, ghouls will go just to see it. But you could buy it, someone here could buy it. And I thought, God, what a fucking horrible place to live that would be. Gloucester. Shit, isn't it? Nothing to do. And that house in particular, there's a 20-foot drop now off the back step. I can't tell you. Whee! Shit. So I don't want to go down into bad taste. That'd be a terrible thing. I'll tell you what, now New Year's Eve is on the way. And we know what we'll all be doing New Year's Eve. We'll be playing our favourite game, won't we? You must have played that game. You put 10 quid on the table in the pub, get a gang in, and you pick which celebrity is going to die first that year. I love that. Isn't that a great game? I've played that, since I was a teenager. Every year we get together, you know, and we've had some laughs, I tell you. The money I've seen thrown away on the Queen Mother, I couldn't... year after year after year. And the trouble is, it's like having the same numbers on the lottery every week. Once you've had the Queen Mother once, you must stick with her. Because you think, well, you know, I'll stop this year and that'll be that. I'll be kicking myself. I had a mate called Al used to back her every year without fail. We'd used to pull his leg. We'd say, Al, Queen Mother again, is he? Put it on the list. And he'd go, well, let me down again last year. Oh, go on. Surely this year, he'd say, surely. One year, this is absolutely, honestly, this is true. A mate of mine, he backed Leonid Brezhnev, the Russian leader, right? Come about March, Brezhnev got very ill. Of course, my mate was chuffed. 120 quid we're talking about here, right? So we were all worried sick, the rest of us, right? And, but good old Brezhnev, he made a bit of a game of it. Lasted for months, right? Kept it going. And we were cheering him on, the rest of us, you know. Come on, Leonid, you can do it. A friend of mine sent him fucking grapes. So I was watching the news one Sunday morning, and news come on, and it said Leonid Brezhnev, the Russian leader, still very poorly. I thought, oh, bollocks. And then he said, late news coming, oh, no. Jack Howarth, who plays Albert Tatlock in Coronation Street, passed away this morning. I went, fucking yes, me! He wasn't even fucking ill when I backed him. He hadn't got a complete outsider. Hadn't got a head cold. We got our first ever colour telly. I saw him on colour telly and I thought, purple nose, heart trouble. As a guess. One year, a mate of mine, he backed Arthur Askey. And Arthur Askey had a leg amputated, and this mate tried to claim £2.50. All true. So, seen any films? Did you get to the pictures, you two? Have you seen Dances with Wolves? Have you seen that? Didn't like it, Nick? Oh, like a good cowboy. Me. You saw it as well, Chris? No. Nikki went on her own. That's how it starts, that's all I'm saying. In case if you haven't seen it, Chris, basically, Dances with Wolves is about a bloke called Dances with Wolves, and he's called Dances with Wolves because he dances with wolves. It's quite complicated. It's a Red Indian thing, you know, and people are... they don't call them by names like Chris or Nick or Frank or Matt. They call them names like, you know, what they do. They'd be like, you know, where's a stupid jumper, you'd be called Matt. Perhaps a bloke with a Luton shirt would be called Flogs a Dead Horse. And it saves a lot of bother, because often if you meet people, the first thing you do is ask what they do for a living. Whereas, you know, if you went to a Red Indian party, there'd be no need, because you'd meet someone, he'd say, hello, I'm Dances with Wolves. And you'd say, oh, Dances with Wolves. Must get a bit lonely out here then. And he'd go, yeah, very good. Right. Can I get you a drink at all? Fox Buffaloes. Can you get smells like knob cheese, a martini? Wouldn't that save time? Just think if Jane Torval had been a Red Indian, she'd be called Dances with Cunts. Perhaps. I'm very interested, though, with those in those foreign cultures. The Australian Aborigines I find fascinating people. I got interested. I saw a film called, you might have seen this, Walkabout with Jenny Agutter. Marvellous film, that. Oh, those fabulous shots of the bush. And it got me, I read a book about the Aborigines. Now, this is a fact. Now, the Aborigines are obviously a noble race, but some very different opinions and very different social values. For a start off, they have sex in front of each other. And it's not considered crude or impolite or anything. It's just a normal, natural function. We're all touchy about it. They don't care. They'll shit in front of each other. Again, it's not regarded as anything bad, you know, and why should it be? But, strangely, when they eat, Aborigines, when they eat, they go and eat on their own in private behind a rock somewhere. They regard eating as a very private thing. Now, that seems stupid. I eat in public a lot, you know. But come to think about it, I wouldn't eat in public quite so much if there was people there having a shit. So you see, often, if you follow these things through, there is a logic, isn't there? I'd be too shy to do it myself. I am quite a shy bloke. I get shy, and you'll laugh at this, but honest, I get shy if I've had a bath and obviously I'm naked and I'm maybe toweling off, and the dog comes in the bathroom. I don't like that. Don't they stare? Oh, our dog would come in and go, hello? Oh, kept that quiet, didn't you? Purple? What's wrong with bright red all of a sudden? He'd lean with one paw on the back of the head like that. Not really. And he'd say, oh, and you clean your bollocks with a flannel? What, you got back trouble or...? Really annoyed me. Made me feel self-conscious. To get me own back, I tell you, he's a Staffordshire Bull Terrier, our dog. When he shit in the garden, he pulled the funniest face you've ever seen. Oh, I could have sold tickets. He used to get settled there. She did this thing with his mouth. He'd sort of go... laugh. I'd pull up a deck chair sometimes, get settled. If it was a hot day, you know, maybe a cold drink. Even a tip-top sometimes. Fabulous. Anyone got any dog owners in? You got a dog in Southampton? What sort of dog's that? Jack Russell. Would you say he was intelligent? You haven't thought about it? Because a lot of people say their dogs, you know, are incredibly... You know, people say, oh, he understands every word I say, you know. And you think, nah. Ozzy Ardiles probably says that about his dog, you know. The dog's going... I don't think they're I really don't think they're intelligent. I don't respect the intelligence of any animal that is surprised by its own farts. I mean, you know, didn't you? You have an inkling. You know something's on the way. You know, our dog would sit in the living room like this. No fucking idea. When he was 15, he went deaf. And then he'd sit in the kitchen like this. What? No idea. Fat bastard he was with a big pink belly. He used to lie on the hearth and he used to dream, right? And I hate it when they dream. He made noises when he dreamt that he never made when he was alive, when he was awake, rather. He'd like one paw would start going like that, and I think, no, he's going to be dreaming in a minute. Maybe an ear would flap. And he'd go... Is he dreaming he's an Are You Being Served, this dog, or what? And a friend of mine said the thing is, Frank, so they dream they're chasing a rabbit. I thought, no. This dog's lived in West Bromwich for 15 years. I've never seen a fucking rabbit. It's in Bugs Bunny perhaps once on a video. We had trouble. I tell you, there was an alley at the back of our house, and couples used to use it for sexual liaisons. I don't mind, you know. But I got suspicious. I saw a skid mark on one of the walls, and I thought... So I'm a bit of a Sherlock when I get going. And live and let live, that's me. But what they used to do, they'd use condoms. It's obviously a good thing, you know, it's the 90s. But they'd use condoms, just leave them on the floor in the alley, and our dog would go in there, and it's not nice, is he? He used to chew them. Oh. I don't know why. I suppose, you know, to a dog, it's like chewing a locket. Well, you can make that noise, but 15 years, never had a sore throat to my knowledge. Worth knowing, isn't it, eh? If you're a bit tickly one night. Go and find the all-night chemist as a standby. I didn't mind him chewing, because, you know, dogs... the hygiene thing didn't bother me, because dogs will eat anything, nothing seems to affect them. I just thought, well, if the neighbours smell it on his breath... oh, my name will be Dirt around there. Staffordshire Bull Terrier, anyway. So ugly bastard. Very ugly dogs, they are. Some ugly people about, aren't there? I can't see any here now, but I mean, I'm no oil painting, but I mean rancidly fucking ugly people. I don't mean people looking at you think, oh, no, I mean fucking, oh, seriously. Oh, dear, some of the people you see knocking about. There'll be some in tonight, I can't see it at the front, but at the back a little bit, and they never know, you know. Oh, dear. There'll be some bloke sitting in the back with a face like a lizard's cunt. He'll be sitting... and he'll be saying to his mate, yeah, he's right, there are some fucking ugly dogs. Now, I don't want to be cruel, you know, because we've all gone across the bear, but I just think that there's a place for everyone in the world, and that surely the place for very, very ugly people is Blind Date. Because what's gone wrong with Blind Date now is everyone on it is good looking, and that's terrible. That's rubbish, Blind Date. Blind Date without the ugly person is like Russian roulette without the bullet. When you're watching Blind Date, the greatest pleasure, admit this, the greatest pleasure is from going, go on, pick that bastard, go on. That'll wipe the fucking smile off your face. Your ideal contestant for Blind Date has got quite a sexy voice, a bit of a sense of humour, and a face like a fucking pork scratching. That's what you want, isn't it? Hey, that's that. You know that moment, right? You know on Blind Date when, say if it's the bloke picking, and he's picked his number, and the other two women come round the screen first of all, and he says them, and then there's the big reveal, right? And he's there, and one woman comes round, she might be quite nice looking, and he has a bit of a hug, and then he does that jokey thing when he goes to follow her off, you know. You know, he's a bit of a character. And still they'll go, whack. And then the other woman will come around and have a bit of a hug and she'll go, and then the screen goes back and there's the one he's picked. And if you look closely, some weeks, he's not that keen. And if you watch closely, he'll smoke a bit of twitch, just go. And you think he doesn't like her very much, it's not very keen. Ooh, no, that's not good enough for me. When that screen goes back, I want to see fucking vomiting. I want to see the bloke going, no! Saying, do you want to pick a car? Oh, you've dribbled on that, you ugly bastard. You got a J-cloth, the pork scratching's dribbled on the fucking car. That's entertainment, isn't it? Their idea of a bit of novelty on Blind Date is some weeks they have some very old people on. And the idea is we'll all say, oh, look, come here, they've got some old people on Blind. Oh. Fancy it there, eh? Still getting dressed up, you know, making a bit of an effort. Look, bless her. Oh, look, oh, cute. In fact, what we tend to say is that they've got some old people on Blind Date. How are you supposed to wank to that? Because they don't want to be on there. A lot of them, they don't know where they are. Oh, the very old ones, they don't know where they are. They're sitting there thinking, hold on, behind a screen, but not on a bedpan. And also, look, I'll tell you this, and this will shock you. Prepare to be stunned. But I think you've got a right to know. The questions and the answers on Blind Date are given to the contestants in advance. Well, sorry, but... And what gets me is they're in the dressing room just waiting. You just pick off you go. Just one big pile. So for someone who's 60 or 70 or 80, they just pick it from the same pile as someone who's 18, 19, 20. That's ridiculous. That's not fair, is it? Surely the people of this age have earned the right to have their own proper old people's questions, you know, as a mark of respect. I want to see an old person sitting on Blind Date saying, right, here's me first question. Now, if we went to a tea dance, right, and I shit myself... What would you do? And that's a question for number 3. Right? And then number 3, they'd have one of them answers, all the puns, you know, they love a pun on Blind Date. Oh, they're pun crazy. And the person say, the old bloke say, well, I would not be deterred. or bowled over, right? Because I know there are plenty more feces in the sea. And besides, I lost my sense of smell in an air raid. Now, I don't mean any disrespect. I see one or two people in the audience tonight, maybe over 60, and I'm very, very... Thank you for coming, I appreciate it. And it gives me a thrill. I love and respect old people. They confuse me. I'll tell you what confuses me more than anything, and maybe when I get older, I'll understand this. But if I walk down the street as I am now, right? I walk down the street, I'm just walking like this. I don't walk like that often. And I see on the floor, you know, on the pavement, maybe a little shoe or a little glove. I think, well, some kid's probably thrown that out of a pushchair. You know, if the parents want it, they'll come back for that. But carry on. I never get any urge whatsoever to think, oh, little glove. I'll shoe there, put it on that little wall. Never done that. The logic, surely, really, for me, is I see it on the floor and I think, well, the parents will be back home, and I think, little Johnny's thrown his glove out of the pushchair. That will have landed on the floor. So we'll look there. I don't think, oh, he's thrown his glove out the pushchair. That will have landed on a railing like that. It's 1,000,000 to 1 shot. What is the logic seems to be, if you find something that's lost, put it a bit higher up. I think all this dog looks lost here, mate. I'll put it on this garage roof. Dog's thinking, thank fuck you didn't see them railings. I wonder if this is what... Has this ever happened to you? Have you ever been on a double-decker bus on the top deck? And when you stop at a bus stop, you look down at the corrugated roof of the bus stop. There's always a fucking shoe and a coat... a shoe and a Coke can, that's what's there. And I wonder if, mate, it's always like a grown-up, a proper, you know, an adult shoe. And I wonder if maybe an old person might find, an adult shoe. And think, oh, look at that for a shoe. That's a bigger. That's what, maybe 8.5, 9. Proper man's shoe, that is. Now, this little war hardly seems adequate. Big man's shoe like this. Maybe this bus stop, seems proportionally more sensible. Well, it's going to be a bit lonely up there on its own. Or Maybe this Coke can will give it a As I say, I don't want to ever go old people because I'm not getting any younger myself, let's face it, and in my 30s now, and moving fast, I'll tell you. How old are you, mate, if you don't mind me asking? 34. What's your name? Malcolm. Do you find, Malcolm, this is a personal question, you don't have to answer it. No, really. Do you find, Malcolm, as you got into your mid-30s, that sometimes you're ready for sex, but you're not ready for sex? You know that? Has that ever happened to you, Malcolm? It has. Good for you. It made me feel a lot better about myself. Now, it should never happen to me. It has happened to me, and it's not fair. Because of all the people in the world that shouldn't happen to, me, I'm number one. Because I'll tell you, in foreplay, I am the most talkative, excited bloke in the world. I'm always saying things like, oh, I'm going to give you such a fucking dead on. What a fucking I'm going to give you, my lady. Oh, dear. I have to knock your fucking fillings out. I'm going to... Shall we just hold each other? I'll tell you something, Malcolm, and I don't want to embarrass you, but I want to embarrass me, and I'm going to. It's never happened, and I don't want to get coarse now at this stage when I've held back for so long. But it's never happened to me when I've been masturbating. Isn't that strange? What do you... Well, I won't ask you. You didn't get them glasses from watching telly, let's put it that way. It's never... Honestly, if I ever think, oh, I've got time for a quick... It's there, no problem, like a rock, no trouble. Honestly, I was watching... There was a film on the other night, and it wasn't pornography, just like a bit of a dirty film on Channel 4. And it was good. You never know with those films when the dirty bits are going to come, do you know? So... You have to be sort of halfway up the runway. Not rigid, but rubbery, you know. It's a similar technique to those blokes that spin the plates on this. Just keep the speed going. And I was having a lovely time, and I don't mind admitting I was enjoying myself. But the thing was, we had people round. And they didn't like it, I could tell. But in fact, I don't think they'll buy the flat now. Anyway, like I said, I don't want to get into that subject, it's a bit embarrassing. I just make the point because I've never had that sort of, impotence thing while I've been masturbating. Though I have to say, we live in an age now, right, where they can put a man on the moon, and yet you cannot buy a bed with a headboard with a toilet roll holder fitted. Is that progress? I don't think so. There's nothing worse, is there, Malcolm? Think back to it. We'll assume you don't do it anymore. Think back to when you were a young man, Malcolm. We all admit that maybe you were 14 or 15. You used to get up a bit excited and you'd do the... You're with me on this? You'd do the bit. And you'd wake up and think, oh, I haven't got anything to... Oh, my God. And you used to have to crab walk across the landing like that. Morning, Mum. Nightmare. So as I say, I only bring it up to make the point that I've never had the impotence problem whilst masturbating, which suggests, obviously, it's not me. Worst thing, I'll tell you the worst thing, is when sometimes you're ready, you put a condom on, and then it goes. That's a nightmare. One minute you got a rubber truncheon, suddenly you got a walnut whip in an oxygen tent. No chance. And what breaks my heart, and that's been so long ago, I tell you, when I was a young man, I could have sex at the drop of a hat. So somebody dropped a hat, I was bloody in there. Straight through the Wranglers. Didn't bother me. But nowadays, everything has to be just so, you know, for me to be able to perform. I find that the room, you know, has to be at the right temperature for me. And if we've got a bit of music on, the music centre has to be just the right volume, just settled, I have to be in the right mood. I have to have eaten 4 hours before. It's true, I can't ejaculate on an empty stomach anymore. Unless it's, you know, somebody else's. Look, you've been a really nice crowd tonight. I've really enjoyed talking to you. God bless you. Cheers. Good night. Thanks. Thought I'd better get out there quick. It was just dropping, wasn't it? Oh dear. Now, it's funny, you know, when you've been doing this job for a few years, you can, standing back there, you can tell the difference between the men's applause and the women's applause. You can hear the difference. And the men's applause then seemed to be saying to me, come back, Frank, for a couple of minutes, by all means. But no more that impotent stuff, all right? It's not fucking funny. And basically, we don't want to know. Fair enough. I should point out, to be fair, that I have spent, you know, about 20 or 30 years ravaging my body with drink, which hasn't helped. I used to be a terrier. Do you drink much, Malcolm? Pints. Hey. Yeah, you're a bit of a lad, eh? Pints, fuck it. That's those big ones, isn't it, Malcolm? So how many pints would you have, say, on a night when you was, you know... 8 or 9? Whoa! Have you ever... I know it's become personal questions night for you, Malcolm, but have you ever had a bit too much and... I won't even ask you. I'll tell you, I have. This is true, and this is a warning to anyone here who finds their drink problem getting a bit much. I used to, when I was a drinking man, piss the bed 2 or 3 nights a week. I'm not kidding you. Oh no, isn't it? I'm not bragging. This is how far it's gone with me. And I know some comedians say this is a true story, and it isn't, but this is honestly a from-the-heart true story, right? I have pissed the bed whilst in it with a woman. Can you get any lower? Can you imagine? Can you imagine how that feels? And it was at her place, which didn't help. And we'd only been going out about 3 weeks. You know, I didn't know well enough to say, hey, wake up, guess what's happened? But, you know, we hadn't reached that level. And she went to Birmingham Polytechnic. She's a nice woman. I won't name her. But I woke up and I thought that, oh no. How am I going to get around this? And I'll tell you this is what I did. And this is pathetic, but I'm just telling you. I'm telling you anyway. I started going, I was sweating. Was I sweating? Honestly, it was fucking dripping off me last night. And she looked at me. She was no fool. She looked at me and she said, I don't think this is sweat. And I was cornered. I was absolutely cornered. And you'll hate me for this. I'll tell you honestly what I said. But, you know, I was trapped. And I'm not proud of this. I said, I think you're right, actually. I said, I think you've pissed the bed. Don't tap that, for God's sake. You'll hate yourself tomorrow. Oh dear, what a way. I've spoken in interviews about that, because I was a real drink problem, and I spoke about it in interviews. And I noticed when they said to, Marilyn Monroe reporters, when they said, like, what do you sleep in? And she said, Chanel number 5. They go, oh. When they asked me what I slept in, and I said, my own piss. Didn't go down so well, I found. Let's go. Oh, that was... And people who've never pissed the bed, there might be people in here who've never done it. If you've never pissed... People think, if they've never pissed the bed, they think, oh, you must wake up. You've got a hangover, obviously. And you wake up and go, oh, God, what day is it? Oh, piss the bed. No? No, you wake up and go, oh, God, what day is it? Ah. Piss the bed. Probably the weekend then, I suppose. And have me a bit of a lie-in. What do you do? You snuggle. That's what you do. You snuggle. Oh, unbelievable. And I used to have to sleep with a plastic bowl at the side of my bed because I was sick every morning without fail. Every morning. And the thing is, if you've been out, you'll know this, Malcolm, if you go out at night and you're sick at night while you've been drinking, it's great. Leave the pub and they say, be at the match tomorrow, Frank. Yeah, I'll be there. I'll be there about 20. That's still all right. No problem, but the next morning, oh my God, there's nothing there, is there? Nothing there. Most of it's in the fucking mattress, for a starter. I used to drag myself to the side of the bed, like in a bit of plastic bowl. And I'd be eventually, this little bit of yellow stuff tastes like nothing I'd ever tasted in my life. I thought I'd never fucking drank that. That's poison. And then I realised what I was doing. I was straining so much, I was drawing the piss out the mattress through the pores in the skin by osmosis. Possibly. That was happening. Look, I'd like to leave it up with a completely true thing that happened to me when I used to live in Birmingham. Before I started doing comedy or anything, I used to go to a mainstream club in a place called Whitton. And it's not far from Villa Park, actually. And it was a club that used to have, like, not so much comics, semi-professional singers would be on, you know. And I love all that stuff. And I was probably the youngest person who used to go to the club. It's all women with blue rinses and that, but I liked it. Now, one night, completely true story, this bloke came out to sing, and he got, I remember, red patent leather slip-on shoes. And a bit of a perm, but to his credit, it was post-Lenny Bennett. It had loosened out into a sort of a Roger Daltrey. You know, he'd stuck his neck out a bit there. And he did that song, you know that song that goes, "You're just too good to be true. I can't take my eyes off of you." Did all that stuff, right? And I love that song. But if you remember, in the middle of it, there is a fucking big bit, right? When the band goes da 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 da, and the singer has to go, "Oh, pretty babe," and this fucking note higher than that, right? So when you start that song, you want to start down here, right? Give yourself somewhere to go. Think ahead. You want to come out and go, "You're just too good to be true." This bloke, red patent leather shoes, loose perm. "You're just too good to be true." The whole audience went, "He'll never fucking met that man." We should stop him now. Has he not heard it before? He'll hurt himself, for sure. No, No idea. No idea. Still smiling. Can't take my eyes off her. So, we all knew the big bit was coming. My God, there was a tension in that club that night. We were all waiting there. This one old woman said, she said, I'm not watching it, it's not fair. Young chap hurt himself. She said, I'm not, it's a bit your conscience, but I'm out of here. And if you want to watch someone get upset and do their... Gone. So, got to the big bit. We were on the edge of our seats. Completely true. The old woman next to me was watching it like this. And I swear to you, this singer went. You did a brilliant crowd. Thank you very much indeed. God bless you.